If you're enjoying this story, subscribe to Satoshi's Lullaby. New episodes every day. Now, let's continue. Close your eyes. Every single day, more than $50 billion worth of Tether changes hands. More than Bitcoin, more than Ethereum, more than any other cryptocurrency on Earth. Tether is the plumbing of crypto, the thing that holds the whole system together. And for over a decade, nobody could prove whether it was actually backed by real dollars or whether it was the largest fraud in financial history. The company has refused audits. It has settled with the U.S. government for $41 million without admitting wrongdoing. Its executives have been indicted for bank fraud. And yet, Tether keeps growing. If it is real, it is one of the most important financial innovations of the 21st century. If it is not, the entire crypto market collapses the day it falls. But as with all great tales of ambition, there were undercurrents of mystery. Beneath the surface of Tether's rapid ascent lay questions that began to whisper through the halls of the financial world. How could a digital currency maintain such unwavering stability? What assurances were there that each token was indeed backed by actual dollars locked away in reserves? The foundation of Tether's promise rested upon this assurance, yet the clarity of its reserves remained shrouded in uncertainty. In 2018, these whispers grew louder, evolving into a chorus of concern. The credibility of Tether's peg to the dollar was questioned, and the world began to peer behind the curtain. The unyielding question echoed, was Tether truly as it seemed? This marked the turning point where faith began to waver and the specter of doubt cast its shadow. The following year brought the intense gaze of regulators. The New York Attorney General's office launched an investigation in 2019, bringing the full force of legal scrutiny to bear on Tether's operations. Accusations of hiding losses and deceptive practices emerged, pulling Tether into the spotlight of financial controversy. In February of 2021, the culmination of these investigations resulted in Tether settling with the New York Attorney General's office for $18.5 million. As part of the agreement, Tether was required to provide regular transparency reports, a promise to shed light on the shadows of its operations and to reveal the true nature of its reserves. Even as Tether's market cap soared past $60 billion, the controversies it faced sparked a broader debate about the regulation of stablecoins, challenging the industry to confront the complexities of trust and transparency. As we delve into the intricate tapestry of Tether, we explore not just the mechanics of a currency, but the human elements woven into its creation, rise, and scrutiny. We uncover the lessons it offers and what they mean for the future of finance in an increasingly digital world. This journey through Tether's story is one that invites reflection on the balance between innovation and oversight, a tale of ambition tempered by the realities of accountability. Open your eyes now and prepare to embark on this journey with us. The story of Tether is more than a study of currency. It is a reflection on the very nature of trust and the evolving landscape of digital finance. As we turn the pages to Chapter 1, the first lines of Tether's story await, drawing us deeper into its enigmatic legacy. Open your eyes now and prepare to embark on this journey with us. The story of Tether is more than a study of currency. It is a reflection on the very nature of trust and the evolving landscape of digital finance. As we turn the pages to Chapter 1, the first lines of Tether's story await, drawing us deeper into its enigmatic legacy. In the vibrant digital landscape of 2014, where innovation was the heartbeat of progress, Tether emerged. It was a year marked by both aspiration and uncertainty in the world of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin had already begun its ascent, capturing imaginations and wallets alike. But with volatility shadowing its every move, the need for stability became apparent. Enter Tether, the promise of a stablecoin designed to maintain a one-to-one peg with the US dollar. The inception of Tether was spearheaded by a team of thinkers and innovators. Among them, Reeve Collins, Craig Sellers, and Brock Pierce stood at the forefront. Their vision was clear: to create a bridge between the traditional financial system and the burgeoning world of digital currencies. Tether's creation was officially announced in November 2014, backed by a simple yet profound idea. By ensuring that each Tether token, USDT, was supported by an equivalent amount of fiat currency, the coin aimed to eliminate the unpredictability that plagued other cryptocurrencies. The concept of a stable digital currency was revolutionary. It provided a solution to one of the most pressing issues facing the cryptocurrency market. For traders, investors, and businesses, Tether offered a refuge from the erratic swings of digital assets, promising a semblance of the reliability found in traditional financial instruments. As 2014 gave way to 2015, Tether began to find its footing in the cryptosphere. The early days saw skepticism balanced with intrigue. The crypto community, known for its cautious optimism, scrutinized Tether's claims. Discussions about its backing by US dollars were frequent topics on forums and discussion boards. Yet the allure of a stable, reliable cryptocurrency drew attention. In January 2015, Tether began trading on the Bitfinex exchange, marking its entry into the vast ocean of digital finance. From the outset, Tether's potential was evident. It offered a new tool for those involved in cryptocurrency trading and a gateway for newcomers wary of extreme volatility. The promise of a stablecoin, fully backed by reserves, was a compelling narrative. It was not just about the currency itself, but about what it represented: a revolution in how digital assets were perceived and utilized. As the months rolled on, Tether's adoption grew. The currency began to weave itself into the fabric of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. By 2016, it was not uncommon to see Tether facilitating transactions across various platforms. Its market presence was expanding, not in leaps and bounds, but with a steady, assured pace. Trust was being built, brick by meticulous brick. Yet, beneath the surface of Tether's growing success, questions lingered. How exactly was Tether maintaining its dollar peg? What mechanisms ensured its stability? For its users, these questions were paramount. Trust is the cornerstone of any financial system, and for Tether, establishing and maintaining that trust was critical. The technical underpinning of Tether was based on the Omni layer, a protocol built on the Bitcoin blockchain. This integration provided a level of transparency, allowing users to track transactions and holdings. However, transparency regarding the reserves backing Tether was another matter. As confidence in Tether's usability grew, so did the scrutiny of its claims. In the background, discussions about regulation and oversight began to stir. The world of cryptocurrency was still largely uncharted territory, and stablecoins, with their promise of stability, faced unique challenges. For financial watchdogs, the concept of a digital currency pegged to fiat money was intriguing but concerning. How could one ensure compliance and safeguard against misuse in such a rapidly evolving market? By the end of 2016, Tether's role in the cryptocurrency market was solidifying. It became more than just a tool for traders. It was a symbol of the potential harmony between old and new financial systems. The currency's influence was growing, establishing a foundation for what would become a vast network of stablecoin offerings. As Tether entered 2017, the stage was set for rapid growth. The cryptocurrency market was on the brink of transformation, with Tether positioned squarely at its heart. In the coming years, it would become a major player, a cornerstone on which much of the digital economy would rest. But this prominence would also invite scrutiny and challenges, laying the groundwork for the controversies that would follow. Tether's journey from inception to this point was marked by ambition and innovation. Its founders had envisioned a currency that could blend the reliability of traditional finance with the dynamism of digital assets. By 2017, those dreams were inching closer to reality as Tether became an integral part of the cryptocurrency marketplace. The foundation laid in these early years was crucial. Tether's ability to weather the storms of doubt and disbelief was testament to the strength of its underlying concept. A stablecoin backed by real-world currency held the promise of changing not just how digital currencies were traded, but how they were perceived by the broader financial world. Yet as the curtain began to rise on 2017, the future of Tether would be tested. The coming chapters would delve deeper into its meteoric rise, the questions surrounding its reserves, and the regulatory scrutiny that would follow. For now, the story of Tether stood as a testament to both the promise and the complexities inherent in the evolving landscape of digital finance. As we close this chapter, the next unfolds with anticipation. The rise of Tether awaits, a time of growth and unprecedented change. Join us as we delve into the remarkable journey of this stablecoin, its influence, and the challenges it would soon face. The narrative of Tether continues, inviting us to explore the intricate dance between innovation and trust in the digital age. The narrative of Tether continues, inviting us to explore the intricate dance between innovation and trust in the digital age. By the mid-2010s, the cryptocurrency market was rapidly evolving, characterized by a mix of optimism and volatility. Tether, founded in 2014, had positioned itself uniquely as the world's first stablecoin, promising a digital currency backed one-to-one by the US dollar. In this burgeoning marketplace, Tether was not merely a participant but a cornerstone, offering traders the stability they craved amidst the erratic swings of Bitcoin and Ethereum. By 2017, Tether had become indispensable to cryptocurrency exchanges, facilitating seamless transitions between digital assets and fiat currency. The ability to move funds quickly and inexpensively between exchanges around the globe was a revolutionary concept. The team behind Tether, a group that included entrepreneurs like Brock Pierce and Reeve Collins, saw their creation gain traction at an extraordinary pace. As new exchanges emerged in Asia, Europe, and beyond, Tether's utility became undeniable. It was a tool that bridged the gap between two worlds, enabling transactions that were as fast as they were reliable. By the end of 2017, Tether transactions were flowing through almost every major cryptocurrency exchange, with a market capitalization hovering around $1.4 billion. This explosive growth did not go unnoticed. For every enthusiastic adopter, there were skeptical observers questioning Tether's ability to maintain its dollar peg. Yet, for the vast majority of cryptocurrency traders, Tether meant speed, efficiency, and most importantly, a promise of value that would not fluctuate wildly overnight. This promise was critical in a market where certainty was a scarce commodity. In January 2018, the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies hit an all-time high of over $800 billion. Tether was a key player in this unprecedented growth, acting as a lubricant for the market's engine. Exchanges like Binance and Bitfinex relied heavily on Tether to provide liquidity, allowing traders to enter and exit positions with ease. For many, Tether had become the default currency of choice for storing value temporarily. It allowed traders to hedge against volatility without moving funds back into traditional fiat accounts, which could be a cumbersome and costly process. This convenience was not lost on traders like Zhao Dong, a prominent figure in the Chinese cryptocurrency scene, who appreciated Tether's capability to keep funds liquid and accessible. However, the speed of Tether's rise brought with it a shadow of doubt. The question that lingered in the minds of many was whether Tether truly held enough reserves to back every token it issued. This uncertainty was compounded by the opaque nature of Tether's operations. Unlike traditional financial institutions, which are subject to rigorous regulatory oversight, Tether operated in a largely unregulated space. Despite these concerns, Tether's integration into the cryptocurrency ecosystem was profound and widespread. By 2019, Tether's market cap had surged past $4 billion, solidifying its status as the most significant stablecoin in circulation. Its influence was so pronounced that a dip in Tether's stability could ripple through the entire cryptocurrency market, affecting prices and trading volumes across the board. In the heart of these market dynamics was Tether's ability to facilitate arbitrage opportunities, allowing traders to capitalize on price discrepancies between exchanges. It was this function that many argued helped keep cryptocurrency markets more efficient. Yet, the very factor that made Tether indispensable also made it a target for scrutiny. As the stablecoin's usage widened, so did the chorus of voices calling for transparency and regulation. In the summer of 2019, a report by the New York Attorney General's office cast a long shadow over Tether, suggesting that the stablecoin might not be fully backed as claimed. This was a pivotal moment that marked the beginning of intensified scrutiny. Though Tether managers reassured the market, questions about its reserves and financial practices lingered, creating a sense of unease amidst its predominantly tech-savvy user base. Despite these challenges, Tether continued to thrive. In 2020, as the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted global economies, the cryptocurrency market experienced a renaissance. With nations implementing unprecedented economic stimulus measures, the risk of inflation loomed, driving interest in digital assets as a hedge against fiat currency devaluation. Tether's role became even more pronounced, as it allowed for quick and efficient transfers of value in a world increasingly uncertain about the future of traditional currencies. By the close of 2020, Tether's market capitalization had skyrocketed to over $20 billion. It was clear that Tether was not just a temporary phenomenon, but a fixture in the cryptocurrency landscape. Regulators watched closely, driven by concerns that Tether's influence might pose systemic risks to financial stability. The following year, in 2021, Tether's market cap soared past $60 billion. This growth was in part facilitated by the broader acceptance of cryptocurrencies and the increasing sophistication of digital financial markets. The stablecoin had become fundamental to a wide array of decentralized finance applications, providing a reliable means of exchange and value storage. Yet, with great power came great scrutiny. Tether's continued success fueled debates about the need for regulatory frameworks to safeguard investors and ensure the stability of financial systems leveraging such digital currencies. The New York Attorney General's settlement in February 2021, which required Tether to pay $18.5 million and commit to regular transparency reports, was a significant milestone. It was both a challenge and an opportunity for Tether to prove its legitimacy. For those at the helm of Tether, this was a crucial juncture. The choices made would determine the trajectory of not just Tether, but potentially the entire stablecoin sector. As they navigated these waters, the team had to balance innovation with the growing demand for accountability and transparency. This chapter of Tether's journey is emblematic of the broader challenges facing cryptocurrencies. They are at a crossroads between technological ingenuity and the age-old demand for trust. The next chapter delves deeper into Tether's operations, pulling back the curtain on its financial backing and the mechanisms that sustain its vast digital ecosystem. The next chapter delves deeper into Tether's operations, pulling back the curtain on its financial backing and the mechanisms that sustain its vast digital ecosystem. In the heart of cryptocurrency's rapid evolution, Tether stands as a seemingly unshakable pillar, promising stability in a volatile market. Yet beneath its surface, the complexities of its operations weave a tale of ambition, secrecy, and innovation. Founded in 2014 by a visionary team that included Reeve Collins, Craig Sellers, and Brock Pierce. Tether was designed to bridge the gap between traditional finance and the burgeoning world of digital currencies. Their promise was simple, yet audacious. Each Tether token would be backed by $1, offering a stable value amidst the notorious fluctuations of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This was not just a technical innovation. It was a financial revolution, providing traders and investors a way to move in and out of digital assets without returning to fiat currencies. Over time, Tether's assurance of stability began to draw significant interest from a wide array of financial entities. By 2017, it had become a crucial component of the crypto ecosystem, facilitating billions of dollars in daily transactions. But as Tether's influence grew, so did the scrutiny surrounding its operations. At the core of Tether's promises lay the question of its reserves. How could they maintain a one-to-one peg with the US dollar if not fully backed by actual currency? For many, this question would linger like an unspoken tension within the industry. Tether Limited, the company behind the token, assured the market that for every Tether issued, there was an equivalent dollar safely held in reserve. However, the specifics of these reserves remained elusive, cloaked in ambiguity and corporate confidentiality. Critics, skeptically observing from the sidelines, noted the potential implications this opacity could have on financial stability within the crypto space. In the shadow of its growing market cap, which by 2021 had soared past $60 billion, Tether faced increasing demands for transparency. Investors and regulators alike began asking the same pressing question: where exactly were these reserves held? And more importantly, did they genuinely exist? These concerns were not merely academic. The potential ramifications of any discrepancy could ripple across the entire digital currency landscape, influencing prices and shaking investor confidence. Tether's management faced these inquiries with a strategic insistence on their operational integrity. They released statements affirming their reserves were indeed fully backed, not only by cash but also by equivalents, financial instruments that varied in liquidity and risk. Yet the details remained scant, leaving room for speculation and doubt. In 2018, this lack of clarity began to be seen not just as an oversight, but as a potential vulnerability. The suspicions reached a critical point when the New York Attorney General's office launched an investigation in 2019. The investigation sought to uncover the truth behind Tether's reserves and its close association with Bitfinex, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. Allegations surfaced that funds were being commingled, challenges that Tether's executives had to navigate delicately. The investigation would culminate in a settlement in February 2021, with Tether agreeing to pay $18.5 million. As part of the settlement, they acknowledged no wrongdoing, but agreed to provide regular transparency reports. These developments marked a significant chapter in Tether's history, impacting not just its operations, but also the broader discourse on cryptocurrency regulation. Tether's willingness to settle, rather than engage in a prolonged legal battle, signaled a pragmatic approach to what could have been a devastating confrontation. Yet the settlement was not merely an end, but rather a new beginning, a promise of increased accountability. For the broader cryptocurrency market, this settlement was both a relief and a reminder of the fragile balance between innovation and regulation. The human element within Tether, its founders and executives, grappled with the immense pressure of steering a billion-dollar company under such intense scrutiny. They were not merely figures in a corporate drama, but individuals navigating rapidly shifting sands. Their decisions, made in boardrooms and on late-night calls, reflected the weight of their ambitions and the reality of operating within the pioneering realm of digital finance. One such moment came in the winter of 2020 as the world grappled with the pandemic. In a quiet office, Stuart Hoegner, Tether's general counsel, pored over documents that would ultimately be submitted to regulators. The legal intricacies were dense, each line a reflection of a broader strategy to maintain Tether's integrity while satisfying the demands of external oversight. Hoegner, a seasoned attorney with a calm demeanor, approached each challenge with a meticulous focus, aware of the stakes involved, not just for Tether, but for the evolving narrative of cryptocurrencies. For Hoegner and his colleagues, these were not just professional challenges, but personal ones, testing the limits of their resolve and their vision for a stable digital currency. The trust of millions of users hung in the balance, a weight felt keenly by those at the helm of Tether. Despite these pressures, the leadership remained steadfast in their mission, emphasizing their commitment to transparency and their belief in the transformative potential of cryptocurrencies. As 2021 unfolded, Tether's regular transparency reports began shedding light on its reserves, offering a clearer, though still imperfect, picture of the mechanisms at play. These reports, though met with mixed reactions, represented a notable shift towards greater accountability. They were a testament to the capacity of the cryptocurrency sector to adapt and evolve in response to external pressures. The road ahead for Tether and its stablecoin peers remained fraught with challenges. The regulatory landscape was shifting, with governments around the world taking a more active interest in the oversight of digital currencies. For stablecoins, this meant navigating a path between innovation and compliance, ensuring that their foundational promise of stability could be upheld in a complex financial ecosystem. As we look to the next chapter, the focus shifts towards a pivotal moment in Tether's journey. The questions about its reserves and the transparency agreements it entered into with regulators set the stage for what would become a series of turning points. These moments would not only define Tether's future, but also resonate across the entire cryptocurrency industry, raising fundamental questions about trust, oversight, and the nature of digital finance. The year was 2018, and the cryptocurrency market was evolving at a breakneck pace. Amidst the growth and innovation, there were murmurs of uncertainty surrounding one prominent player, Tether. Founded in 2014 with the vision of bridging the gap between traditional currencies and digital assets, Tether had promised stability in a notoriously volatile market. However, as the market matured, questions began to surface about the integrity of Tether's reserves. For any stablecoin, the promise of a one-to-one peg with the US dollar is both its allure and its burden. Tether had assured its users that every USDT in circulation was backed by an equivalent amount in reserves. Yet beneath this promise lay a cloud of ambiguity. By the start of 2018, Tether was a cornerstone of the cryptocurrency market, with a market cap consistently growing. But whispers of doubt regarding its reserve status began to ripple through the community. These doubts came to a head on January 30th, 2018. Following months of speculation, Tether's relationship with its auditor, Friedman LLP, was terminated. This abrupt end to their association left many in the cryptocurrency world uneasy. Without an audit, how could Tether prove its reserves? This question lingered in the minds of investors and regulators alike. In the absence of clear answers, speculation burgeoned into suspicion. Market analysts and crypto enthusiasts began to scrutinize every move Tether made. Notably, some alleged that Tether's issuance of USDT was being used to manipulate the price of Bitcoin, particularly during its meteoric rise in late 2017. Although these claims lacked concrete evidence at the time, they fueled a narrative of mistrust. April 2018 marked another significant moment. The New York Times published an article highlighting the growing concerns around Tether and the broader implications for the cryptocurrency market. This article amplified the voices already questioning Tether's transparency and reserve management. It was becoming clear that the lack of regulatory oversight in the crypto world was both a strength and a vulnerability. By mid-2018, the pressure on Tether to prove its reserve claims reached a critical point. Under increasing scrutiny, Tether took steps to address these concerns. In June, they released a document purportedly from a law firm, Free Sporkin and Sullivan LLP, attesting to their reserves. However, the document was not a full audit and was met with skepticism. Critics argued that it fell short of the rigorous standards required to verify Tether's claims. As the summer transitioned into autumn, the questions surrounding Tether's transparency lingered, neither confirmed nor dispelled. The cryptocurrency market, meantime, continued to fluctuate wildly. Tether found itself at the heart of a broader conversation about the need for regulation in the rapidly expanding digital currency space. On October 15, 2018, a critical incident would further test Tether's stability. The value of USDT fell to 85 cents on some exchanges, a significant divergence from its intended dollar peg. This sudden drop stoked fears and prompted many traders to exchange their USDT for other cryptocurrencies or fiat equivalents. For Tether, it was a stark reminder of the fragility underlying its operations. In the wake of this incident, Tether announced that it had opened accounts with Deltec Bank and Trust in the Bahamas. This move was presented as part of Tether's efforts to be more transparent and to ensure that its reserves were indeed secure. On November 1, 2018, Tether released a letter from Deltec affirming the account balance. Yet, as before, this document was not an audit, and skepticism lingered. The end of 2018 brought with it a tentative stability for Tether. However, the controversies raised critical questions about the role of trust and transparency in the burgeoning field of cryptocurrencies. The broader market watched closely, aware that Tether's struggles could have far-reaching implications for other stablecoins and the crypto ecosystem as a whole. As 2019 dawned, the shadows of the previous year's controversies continued to loom large over Tether. Despite these challenges, Tether's market influence remained substantial. It was clear that any significant disruption to Tether could ripple outwards, affecting countless other projects and investments. April 2019 marked another turning point in Tether's saga. The New York Attorney General's office announced an investigation into Tether and Bitfinex, a cryptocurrency exchange with close ties to Tether. The investigation alleged that Tether had provided a loan of $850 million to Bitfinex to cover up losses. This revelation intensified the scrutiny on Tether, raising more questions about its financial practices and the true state of its reserves. Under the weight of this investigation, Tether was once again in the spotlight, forced to reckon with demands for greater transparency and accountability. The crypto community watched as Tether navigated this legal and reputational crisis. For many, the investigation was a pivotal moment, highlighting the need for more rigorous standards in an industry built on ideals of decentralization and freedom from traditional financial systems. In the following months, Tether continued to face challenges, yet it also demonstrated resilience. The market cap of Tether swelled, surpassing $60 billion by 2021. This growth underscored the complex duality of Tether, a company under scrutiny, yet an essential component of the crypto economy. Throughout these turbulent years, Tether's management worked to address the allegations and improve transparency. In February 2021, a settlement with the New York Attorney General's office was reached, requiring Tether to pay $18.5 million and commit to providing regular transparency reports. It was a significant moment in Tether's history, signaling both accountability and the enduring challenges of operating in a rapidly evolving market. As this chapter closes, the story of Tether is far from over. The controversies, the investigations, and the questions of trust and transparency have set the stage for the next chapter in our journey. In the subsequent chapter, we will explore how the cracks in Tether's facade continued to widen and the impact this had on the broader cryptocurrency landscape. The whispers began as murmurs in November 2018. An unsettling undercurrent traveled through the cryptocurrency community, hinting at cracks in Tether's once indomitable facade. It was during this time that questions about Tether's reserves grew louder, unyielding in their pursuit of truth. People wanted to know if each digital token was truly backed by a real dollar. In the heart of New York City, where financial titans often find themselves under the microscope, the walls of regulatory scrutiny began closing in. The New York Attorney General's office, a bastion of public accountability since its inception in 1778, turned its unwavering gaze upon Tether. It was on April 25, 2019, when the office, led by Letitia James, publicly questioned Tether's claims. The investigation sought clarity on whether Tether had truly maintained the necessary reserves to back its digital currency. The implications were profound. If Tether was not holding sufficient reserves, the stability it promised to millions of users worldwide could unravel. The very essence of a stablecoin hinges on trust, a delicate thread that binds financial systems together. For Tether, this meant confronting allegations head-on, with the expectation of transparency demanded by both regulators and users. Alessandro De Nicola, a cryptocurrency trader based in Milan, Italy, couldn't shake the unease that accompanied each transaction. He had first invested in Tether in early 2017, drawn by its promise of stability amidst the volatile storm of cryptocurrencies. As news of the investigation spread, he found himself glued to his screens, searching for any assurance that his investments were safe. Alessandro was not alone. Traders and investors worldwide shared a collective anxiety, an anxiety fueled by uncertainty and the thirst for truth. In the summer of 2019, as speculation reached new heights, Tether's management, led by CEO Jean-Louis van der Velde, took steps to quell public fears. They released a statement asserting that their reserves were indeed adequate and that Tether remained fully backed. To bolster confidence, they unveiled a transparency update, revealing a detailed breakdown of their reserves. This report showed that, in addition to cash, Tether held other financial instruments such as commercial paper and fiduciary deposits. However, for many, this explanation only added layers to the enigma. The absence of an independent audit left skeptics unsatisfied, and questions persisted regarding the composition of these reserves. Could commercial paper, a short-term, unsecured promissory note, be considered as reliable as cash in upholding the value of a stablecoin? The debate ignited fires of discourse across financial forums and social media platforms. Meanwhile, in the bustling city of Hong Kong, another story unfolded. Sarah Chan, a technology journalist at her core, had been following Tether's journey since its early days. Chan had always been fascinated by the intersection of technology and finance, and Tether represented a curious blend of both worlds. As the controversy deepened, she dedicated her investigative skills to unraveling the complex tapestry of Tether's operations. In her article, published in September 2019, Chan detailed the intricate network of financial relationships that underpin Tether's reserves. She highlighted the role of banks, shadowy financial entities, and the delicate ballet of transactions that sustained Tether's operations. Chan's work brought to light the opaque nature of Tether's financial ecosystem, a revelation that fueled further calls for transparency and accountability. As 2019 drew to a close, the cryptocurrency community stood at a crossroads. The public's trust in Tether was undeniably shaken, yet its market dominance persisted. Tether's market cap had surged, reaching an impressive $4 billion by December, a testament to its entrenched position in the crypto world. In the heart of the turmoil, regulatory forces were gathering strength. The cries for clearer guidelines on stablecoins echoed through the halls of power, not only in the United States, but across the globe. Financial leaders and policymakers convened at summits, symposiums, and private meetings to discuss the future of digital currencies. Among them was Christine Lagarde, then serving as president of the European Central Bank, who emphasized the need for robust regulation to ensure market stability. The dawn of 2020 brought with it a global pandemic, shifting the world's focus momentarily. But in the digital realm, the scrutiny of Tether continued unabated. In January, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission weighed in, expressing concerns over the lack of regulatory oversight in the burgeoning stablecoin market. Their words echoed, a reminder that the story of Tether was far from over. For Alessandro in Milan, this period was one of reflection and reconsideration. He diversified his portfolio, wary of putting all his trust in a single entity. For Sarah Chan in Hong Kong, it was a time of relentless pursuit for truth, her pen as sharp as ever, ready to chronicle the unfolding saga. By February 2021, a significant development occurred. Tether settled with the New York Attorney General's office, agreeing to pay $18.5 million. The settlement required Tether to provide regular transparency reports, a move intended to restore trust and assure users of its financial backing. Yet questions lingered. How would Tether navigate the shifting terrain of regulatory expectations? What impact would its journey have on the future of stablecoins? As we stand on the precipice of the next chapter, the story of Tether continues to unfold, with new challenges and opportunities on the horizon. And so, the stage is set for what comes next, a chapter that promises to explore the depths of Tether's resilience amidst a storm of change. And so the stage is set for what comes next, a chapter that promises to explore the depths of Tether's resilience amidst a storm of change. It was 2018, and Tether had woven itself into the very fabric of the cryptocurrency market, a major player with its market cap soaring past $2 billion by mid-year. The promise of Tether was simple, yet audacious: a stable digital currency, tethered securely to the US dollar, offering predictability in a notoriously volatile landscape. Yet beneath this veneer of stability, whispers of concern began circulating. Questions arose about whether Tether was truly backed, dollar for dollar as it had claimed. These concerns, initially dismissed by many as mere FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, soon gained traction. By 2018, the cryptocurrency community was abuzz with debates and speculations, many pointing towards a lack of transparency from Tether's management. The scrutiny intensified when it was reported that Bitfinex, a major cryptocurrency exchange closely tied with Tether, had faced banking issues. In November 2018, Bloomberg revealed that months earlier, Wells Fargo had severed ties with Bitfinex, leading to financial maneuvering that further clouded the waters. The close relationship between Bitfinex and Tether raised eyebrows, casting doubt on the integrity of the claims about Tether's reserves. Amidst these allegations, Tether maintained its position, ensuring the public that their reserves were intact. They issued statements asserting their commitment to transparency and their ability to meet all redemption requests. Yet, the documentation to support these claims was scant. The narrative spun by Tether's management was compelling, but devoid of the hard evidence that regulators and the public craved. The implications of these controversies were profound. In a market where trust is paramount, the slightest hint of instability could trigger a cascade of reactions. Traders and investors began to weigh the risks associated with holding Tether, even as they continued to use it for its unparalleled liquidity. By the end of 2018, Tether's market cap had fluctuated dramatically, reflecting the uncertainty that now surrounded it. The situation worsened when, in April 2019, the New York Attorney General's office launched a formal investigation into Tether and Bitfinex. The allegations were serious: Bitfinex had lost $850 million and had attempted to hide the shortfall by borrowing from Tether's reserves. This revelation sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency community. The facade of stability cracked. For Tether's management, this was a defining moment. Under the leadership of J.L. van der Velde, CEO of both Tether and Bitfinex, the companies embarked on a public relations campaign to assuage fears. They acknowledged the shortfall but argued that the funds were not lost, merely seized in a legal dispute. Van der Velde emphasized the steps being taken to recover the funds and restore confidence. In response to the investigation, Tether updated its terms, now stating that its reserves could include loans to affiliated companies. This marked a departure from its long-standing claim of full backing by cash reserves. The shift was subtle but significant, acknowledging a reality that had been suspected by many. April 30, 2019 was a pivotal day. The Attorney General's office secured a court order to restrict Tether and Bitfinex from further transfers of funds between them, a move aimed at preserving the remaining reserves. This court order was a stark reminder of the growing regulatory scrutiny facing the cryptocurrency sector. Despite the mounting challenges, Tether's resilience was noteworthy. By 2020, its market cap had reached new heights, exceeding $20 billion. This was a testament to its entrenched role in the crypto ecosystem, where it had become a primary conduit for trading. Users and exchanges relied on Tether's liquidity, even as they remained wary of its underlying stability. Yet, the controversies did not abate. In a settlement with the New York Attorney General's office in February 2021, Tether agreed to pay $18.5 million without admitting wrongdoing. As part of the settlement, Tether committed to providing quarterly transparency reports, a concession aimed at restoring public confidence. This agreement marked a turning point, forcing Tether into a new era of accountability. The settlement was a bittersweet victory for Tether. It allowed them to continue operations while dispelling some of the darkest clouds hanging over their legitimacy. But it also opened a new chapter, one where Tether's every move would be scrutinized by regulators and the public alike. The cryptocurrency market, by 2021, had evolved into a more mature arena. Stablecoins were no longer a niche concept. They were integral to global financial flows within the digital space. Tether, despite its tribulations, remained at the forefront, its market cap surpassing $60 billion by May 2021. This expansion was a double-edged sword, amplifying both its influence and the risks associated with any misstep. In this environment, Tether's management faced unprecedented pressure. They had to navigate a complex landscape, balancing innovation with the regulatory expectations now unavoidable. The ongoing debates about Tether's reserves spurred broader discussions on the regulation of stablecoins, a theme that would echo through the halls of financial power worldwide. Meanwhile, other stablecoins began to emerge, each promising greater transparency and regulatory compliance. Competitors like USD Coin, backed by Circle and Coinbase, emphasized their auditability and regulatory oversight. They capitalized on Tether's controversies to carve out a space in the growing market for trustworthy digital currencies. For Tether, the path forward was fraught with challenges, but also opportunities. The company had to adapt, embracing transparency not just as a regulatory requirement, but as a fundamental business principle. As the chapter drew to a close, the questions about Tether's future remained. Would they manage to sustain their market dominance in a world that was becoming increasingly skeptical of their operations? Or would the mounting pressures and emerging competition finally topple this giant of the digital financial realm? The answers, elusive yet tantalizing, would unfold in the chapters ahead, where the stakes were higher than ever. The answers, elusive yet tantalizing, would unfold in the chapters ahead, where the stakes were higher than ever. The ripple effects of Tether's controversies were felt throughout the cryptocurrency ecosystem, leaving no stone unturned. In early 2021, as the dust settled following the tumultuous investigation by the New York Attorney General, the industry was left grappling with some hard truths. Tether's settlement for $18.5 million was more than a mere financial transaction. It was a wake-up call for an industry that thrived on the promise of decentralization and stability. The shockwaves were profound, affecting stakeholders large and small. Investors who once saw stablecoins as a safe harbor amidst the volatile seas of cryptocurrency were now questioning their assumptions. Stablecoins, designed to maintain a steady peg to traditional currencies like the US dollar, were regarded as the bedrock of digital currency transactions. Yet, the realization that Tether might not have been fully backed by reserves shook this foundation. As word spread, other stablecoin issuers found themselves under the microscope. Industry peers such as USDC and DI faced increased scrutiny, with calls for greater transparency and accountability. These companies were compelled to reassure their users and investors by providing more frequent and detailed audits of their reserves. In the aftermath of Tether's settlement, competing stablecoins saw an opportunity to differentiate themselves by emphasizing their commitment to rigorous financial backing. The response from Tether, while swift, was marked by a tense resolve to restore faith. The company agreed to regular transparency reports as part of the settlement terms, a move intended to rebuild trust and dispel lingering doubts. But the road to redemption would not be easy. Skepticism was deeply ingrained among market participants. The broader implications for the cryptocurrency market were significant, with regulators paying closer attention to the stablecoin sector. Policymakers across the globe began to consider frameworks that would ensure the integrity and stability of these digital assets. In the United States, the Treasury Department initiated discussions aimed at understanding the systemic risks posed by stablecoins. Officials were keenly aware that the rapid growth of these assets could have far-reaching implications for monetary policy and financial stability. Against this backdrop, the private sector was not idle. Industry groups convened to establish best practices and standards for stablecoin issuance and management. These efforts aim to preemptively address regulatory concerns and demonstrate a commitment to self-regulation. Meanwhile, on an individual level, the stories of those who relied on stablecoins were varied and poignant. For some, like Maria, an immigrant sending remittances back to her family, stablecoins represented a lifeline. The promise of low-cost, instant transactions across borders was a compelling alternative to traditional remittance services. But Maria's confidence in these digital tools was now shaken, leaving her anxious about the security and reliability of her transfers. For others, like James, a cryptocurrency trader, the events surrounding Tether were a stark reminder of the risks inherent in the nascent market. James had always considered himself a savvy investor, but the sudden volatility in stablecoin markets compelled him to reevaluate his strategies. He realized the importance of diversification, not just across cryptocurrencies, but also in choosing stablecoins with transparent and verifiable backing. These personal narratives added a human dimension to the unfolding drama, highlighting the diverse impacts of Tether's challenges. As the industry navigated this period of reflection and adjustment, the role of stablecoins within the broader financial system was a topic of fervent debate. Could stablecoins be the bridge between traditional finance and the digital future, or were they merely a speculative bubble waiting to burst? This question loomed large as stakeholders considered the path forward. The lessons learned from Tether's trials were evident. Transparency, trust, and regulatory compliance would be crucial to the future of stablecoins. Without these pillars, even the most innovative digital assets risked losing credibility and market confidence. For Tether, the journey ahead was clear, but fraught with challenges. The company needed to demonstrate an unwavering commitment to its promises of transparency and financial integrity. Only through consistent and verifiable actions could it hope to regain its standing in the eyes of the public and regulators alike. In the months following the settlement, Tether worked diligently to meet its obligations. The publication of its transparency reports, although a requirement, was also an opportunity to showcase its resilience and adaptability. Each report was scrutinized by analysts and investors, eager to assess the company's progress in fortifying its reserves. Though initial reactions were mixed, there was a cautious optimism that Tether might indeed be turning a corner. Elsewhere, the regulatory landscape continued to evolve, with new proposals and guidelines being drafted to govern stablecoin operations. In Europe, the European Central Bank expressed interest in developing a digital euro, a move that could redefine the role of stablecoins on the continent. Such developments underscored the shifting dynamics of the financial world, where digital currencies were becoming an integral part of monetary policy discussions. For market participants, staying informed and adaptable was more important than ever. The era of unbridled growth and minimal oversight was giving way to a more structured and accountable framework. As the cryptocurrency market matured, the need for dialogue between innovators, regulators, and consumers became increasingly apparent. The aftermath of Tether's turmoil thus served as both a warning and a catalyst. The events challenged assumptions and prompted meaningful conversations about the future of digital finance. Stablecoins, once heralded as a simple solution to complexities of cryptocurrency volatility, were now seen in a more nuanced light. The path ahead would demand collaboration, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to integrity. As we move forward, the story of Tether and its aftermath continues to unfold, with each chapter offering new insights and lessons. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into the investigations that followed, examining the findings and implications for Tether and the industry at large. The journey ahead promises to be as intricate and revealing as the chapters we've explored thus far. Stay with us as we continue to navigate the ever-changing landscape of the cryptocurrency world, where the lessons of the past shape the possibilities of the future. Together, we'll unravel the next layers of this evolving narrative, understanding its impact on our digital and financial lives. The investigation awaits, a key to the mysteries that have both confounded and intrigued us. The investigation awaits, a key to the mysteries that have both confounded and intrigued us. In the labyrinthine world of cryptocurrency, Tether stands as both a pillar of stability and a beacon of controversy, drawing us into its complex web. As the New York Attorney General's office embarked on its investigation in 2019, the cryptocurrency community watched with bated breath. It was April, a month marked by the subtle transitions from the chill of winter to the warmth of spring. The Wall Street offices buzzed with urgency as the Attorney General's team began to unpick the threads of Tether's financial dealings. The task was monumental, requiring a deep dive into the heart of Tether's operations, which promised a one-to-one peg with the US dollar. Founded in 2014 by Reeve Collins, Craig Sellers, and Brock Pierce, Tether had risen to prominence by 2017, a time when the world of digital currency was burgeoning. The promise of each Tether token being backed by a corresponding dollar seemed simple yet revolutionary. But as 2018 unfolded, a shadow loomed over this promise. Questions about the veracity of Tether's reserves began to surface, casting doubt on its operations. The Attorney General's scrutiny was not unfounded. The connection between Tether and Bitfinex, a major cryptocurrency exchange, added layers to the intrigue. This was not merely a question of financial stability, but also of transparency and trust. In a market where anonymity often reigns, the demand for clarity became paramount. James, an analyst at the New York office, remembered the day the investigation was announced. For him, it was more than a case. It was a chance to lift the veil on a company that had become synonymous with both innovation and suspicion. His role was to sift through mountains of documents and digital files, piecing together a puzzle that spanned continents and currencies. By February 2021, after nearly 2 years of relentless pursuit, the New York Attorney General's office reached a settlement with Tether. The news sent ripples through the financial world. Tether agreed to pay $18.5 million, an admission of neither guilt nor innocence, but a resolution nonetheless. The settlement required Tether to provide regular transparency reports, a demand that spoke volumes about the need for accountability in digital finance. For many, the investigation was a watershed moment. It was a reminder that even in the digital age, the principles of trust and verification hold sway. The settlement may have brought closure to some aspects, but it also opened the door to further questions about the cryptocurrency landscape. Sarah, a cryptocurrency enthusiast, watched these developments with keen interest. A digital nomad by choice, she had always believed in the transformative power of cryptocurrency. Yet, the Tether investigation forced her to confront the realities of this nascent financial frontier. For Sarah, and many like her, the line between innovation and exploitation seemed ever so thin. The aftermath of the investigation saw Tether's market cap soar beyond $60 billion by 2021. This growth was both a testament to its enduring appeal and a reflection of the broader cryptocurrency boom. Yet the specter of the investigation lingered, prompting debates about the regulation of stablecoins. The regulatory spotlight on Tether underscored the challenges of governing a technology that transcends borders. It was a challenge embraced not just by New York, but by financial regulators worldwide. The European Central Bank and the U.S. Federal Reserve began to consider frameworks for stablecoin regulation, inspired in part by the revelations from the Tether case. The journey of Tether, from its promising inception to its controversial scrutiny, was emblematic of the broader cryptocurrency narrative. It highlighted the tension between innovation and regulation, between freedom and oversight. The investigation was a pivotal chapter in this ongoing saga, a chapter that prompted introspection within the cryptocurrency community. The human stories intertwined with this investigation were as varied as they were profound. For some, it was about financial empowerment. For others, a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition. Each story added depth to the complex tapestry of cryptocurrency's impact on the world. As the dust settled, the lessons gleaned from the investigation began to crystallize. Transparency, accountability, and regulation emerged as cornerstones for the future of digital currencies. The need for a cohesive regulatory framework became more pressing, as did the call for greater honesty in financial disclosures. The Tether investigation, while concluded, left an indelible mark on the cryptocurrency landscape. It served as both a wake-up call and a guidepost for future endeavors in digital finance. The settlement with the New York Attorney General's office was not the end, but rather a beginning, a starting point for more rigorous oversight and clearer standards. As we look toward the next chapter, the legacy of the Tether investigation looms large. It compels us to ask difficult questions about the balance between innovation and regulation, about the role of trust in a digital economy. The investigation has set a precedent, and its implications will continue to shape the discourse around stablecoins and beyond. In the wake of these revelations, the cryptocurrency community stands at a crossroads. The path forward is neither fixed nor clear, but it is navigable. As we prepare to explore the legacy, we carry forward the insights and challenges unearthed by the investigation. The journey is far from over, and the future of stablecoins hangs in the balance. The journey is far from over, and the future of stablecoins hangs in the balance. In the digital corridors of finance, Tether has left an indelible mark. Since its inception in 2014, Tether has been both a pioneer and a controversial figure in the realm of cryptocurrencies. Its promise of maintaining a 1-1 peg with the US dollar offered stability in a volatile market. Tether's rise to prominence was meteoric. By 2017, it had become a major player, facilitating seamless transactions across various platforms. Yet the story of Tether is not merely about a digital currency. It's about trust, transparency, and the challenges of innovation. In 2018, whispers of doubt began to surface. Questions about Tether's reserves started to circulate, casting shadows on its operations. The very foundation of its promise, the assurance of being fully backed by reserves, was under scrutiny. The New York Attorney General's investigation in 2019 marked a significant turning point. For Tether, this was not just a legal hurdle, but a test of legitimacy. By February 2021, Tether settled with the IAG for $18.5 million, a sum that reflected both the weight of the accusations and the desire to move forward. As part of the settlement, Tether agreed to provide regular transparency reports, a step towards restoring trust. The ramifications of these events reached far beyond Tether itself. The entire cryptocurrency market felt the tremors, sparking debates on regulation and consumer protection. Other stablecoins, watching closely, began to adjust their strategies, emphasizing transparency and regulatory compliance. A study of Tether is a study of lessons learned. It taught the digital currency ecosystem the importance of clear communication and the perils of opacity. The controversies highlighted the need for independent audits and regular disclosures, setting a precedent for the industry. As Tether's market cap exceeded $60 billion by 2021, it became clear that its influence was monumental. However, with great power comes great responsibility. Tether's journey underscores a critical truth. Innovation without oversight can lead to instability. The market learned that the promise of a stablecoin is only as strong as the public's trust in its backing. For investors, this was a sobering reminder of the need for due diligence. The story of Tether reverberates with echoes of caution, urging stakeholders to tread carefully in the fast-paced world of digital finance. The dialogue around stablecoins continues to evolve. Regulators worldwide are now more vigilant, understanding the potential impact of these digital assets on traditional financial systems. The debate isn't just about regulation, but about finding the right balance between fostering innovation and ensuring security. Amidst the controversies and challenges, Tether's legacy remains significant. It forced the industry to grapple with fundamental questions about transparency, accountability, and the nature of digital currencies. The lessons from Tether's journey have become a blueprint for future developments in the sector. New players entering the field now understand the stakes better, aware of the pitfalls that could ensnare them. For Tether, the path forward involves rebuilding trust. This means not just adhering to the terms of the settlement, but going beyond them. For the team behind Tether, led by figures like CEO Jean-Louis van der Velde, the challenge is to maintain resilience and adaptability. This involves staying ahead of regulatory changes and technological advancements, ensuring that Tether remains relevant and reliable. The emotional weight of Tether's story is felt by many. Investors, developers, and regulators have all been impacted, each carrying their own reflections and insights. For some, Tether symbolizes the potential and peril of digital innovation. For others, it serves as a case study in crisis management and recovery. As we look to the future, the role of stablecoins appears more critical than ever. They have the potential to bridge the gap between traditional finance and the burgeoning world of digital assets. However, this potential can only be realized with careful oversight and a commitment to transparency. The journey of Tether offers valuable lessons for this ongoing evolution. In the grand tapestry of financial history, Tether's chapter is both cautionary and inspiring. It reminds us that the road to innovation is fraught with challenges, but it is also paved with opportunities. As we continue to explore the possibilities of digital currencies, the legacy of Tether will guide us. The future of stablecoins will be shaped by the experiences of the past, informed by the successes and failures of those who dared to push the boundaries. And so, as the narrative unfolds, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The next chapter of digital finance is waiting to be written, with Tether's legacy serving as a compass. The lessons learned from this saga will influence the direction in which we head, impacting decisions both big and small. As we stand on the cusp of what comes next, one thing is certain: the story of Tether is far from over. It continues to unfold, with each development adding new layers of complexity and intrigue. The evolution of stablecoins is an ongoing process, one that requires constant vigilance and thoughtful reflection. As we move forward, the experiences of Tether will provide invaluable insights, helping to shape a future that is both innovative and secure. The narrative is rich with potential, and the journey continues. What lies ahead for Tether and the world of stablecoins remains to be seen. The roadmap is being drawn in real time, influenced by shifting regulations, technological advancements, and market dynamics. The legacy of Tether is one that will endure, impacting the way we perceive and engage with digital currencies. As the story unfolds, we are reminded of the power of innovation and the importance of accountability. The next chapter awaits, full of promise and possibility. And so we look forward, with anticipation and caution, ever aware of the lessons the past has taught us. As Tether charts its course through the digital landscape, we are invited to follow, to learn, and to imagine what the future might hold. The narrative is far from complete, and the pages ahead are filled with potential. The next chapter beckons us to explore, to question, and to dream. With each step, we draw closer to a deeper understanding of what stablecoins can become. The legacy of Tether is a testament to the resilience of ideas and the transformative power of innovation. As we continue this journey, we look to the horizon with hope and determination. For in the world of digital currencies, the journey is the destination. As we draw the curtain on the story of Tether, we find ourselves reflecting on the delicate dance between innovation and trust. Tether, with its promise of stability in a volatile world, offered a vision that resonated deeply with the dreams of many. It became a necessity in a rapidly expanding digital landscape, a bridge where traditional finance met the novel frontier of cryptocurrencies. Yet as we've seen, the story of Tether is not just one of promise, but also of challenges and scrutiny. At its heart, this narrative speaks to the enduring quest for trust in a world where technology evolves faster than our ability to regulate it. The controversy surrounding Tether's reserves served as a poignant reminder of the need for transparency, a cornerstone upon which trust is built. The journey of Tether also sheds light on the human propensity to seek stability amidst chaos. The allure of a stablecoin, like Tether, lies in its capacity to tether our financial aspirations to something seemingly concrete. But as we've learned, even digital constructs are susceptible to the imperfections of human oversight and ambition. Money, technology, and trust form a triad that is as old as commerce itself. But the digital age adds layers of complexity that challenge our understanding of what it means to be secure. Tether's legacy, therefore, is not just in the billions it facilitated, but in the conversations it ignited about the future of money, conversations that will shape the path forward for entire markets. As regulatory bodies continue to scrutinize and adapt, the lessons from Tether will echo through the halls of financial institutions, shaping policy and practice. It is a testament to our capacity to adapt, to learn, and to keep questioning even when the answers seem elusive. Tonight, as you drift into rest, consider the quiet persistence of progress and the role you play in this unfolding narrative. These stories of human endeavor, with all their triumphs and trials, remind us of our shared journey. Tomorrow, we continue this voyage, but for now, let the thoughts settle gently, like leaves finding their place on a calm fall evening. Good night, and may your dreams be peaceful.